In 2008, I fulfilled a dream and traveled to Eastern Europe to volunteer with babies at a clinic for sick children. Two of the children I particularly fell in love with were Christy Daniel and Alina. Christy has Down syndrome. When I arrived at the clinic, he was a year and a half old and weighed only 14 pounds. Alina has fetal alcohol syndrome, or FAS. At 6 months old, she weighed only 6.5 pounds. Many people would say children like Christy and Alina should have been aborted, but we have to ask ourselves, would we kill them now because of those same disabilities? Should Christy's life be ended because he has Down syndrome, or Alina's because she has FAS? Would we really say that there is no moral difference between a person going to care for these children versus a person going to kill them? Some people would say that we wouldn't kill them now because they're living human persons, but that prior to birth they didn't exist yet. So that means the central question in any abortion discussion is this: are the unborn human persons like you and me? If we can prove that the unborn are human like the born, then just as we don't kill born humans because of difficult life circumstances, we may not kill the unborn for the same reasons. Now, some may say the abortion debate is more complicated than that we need to look at the individual circumstances a pregnant woman finds herself in, rather than answering the question, are the unborn human? They ask, what about rape? What if a woman's too young? What if she needs to finish her education or advance her career? What if she can't afford her child? In these situations, they say, abortion is okay, even if in other situations it's not. Now, to test the strength of that claim, we have to ask ourselves, would we ever kill a born human being to address those difficult life circumstances? And if we wouldn't, then that means the real question in the abortion debate is, are the unborn human? Take the rape example. Some abortion advocates say that if a woman is conceived as a result of rape, then abortion is justified. Well, consider this. Imagine a woman is raped a day after she's had sex with her husband. In a month's time, when she discovers that she's pregnant, she doesn't know who the child's father is. She hopes it's her husband and carries on with the pregnancy. After the baby is born, a paternity test is conducted. Results come back and reveal the child's father isn't her husband. It's the rapist. As she's holding the baby in her arms, does that mother have a right to kill the newborn child because of his father's crime? Obviously not. So if the unborn are human like the born, we may not kill them either for that reason. But my point can be proven with more than an imaginary scenario. Consider this real-life situation as described in the New York Times in an interview with an abortionist. Dr. Wicklund describes her horror when she aborted the pregnancy of a woman who had been raped, only to discover, by examining the removed tissue, that the pregnancy was further along than she or the woman had thought, and that she had just destroyed an embryo the woman and her husband had conceived together. Dr. Wicklund was horrified. Perhaps you are as well. But if a child conceived in love is human, is not also a child conceived in violence human? And so the real question is, are the unborn human? Now, others may ask, what if a woman is too young to have a child? Well, imagine a 16-year-old is pregnant and doesn't think she's too young. Only once her baby is born does she realize what's involved with parenting, and so she concludes she's too young. May she kill her toddler because she's too young to parent him? If not, then why kill the unborn because the mom is too young? But some may say that my analogy is flawed because an infant is human, whereas a fetus is not. If that's the response, once again, it proves my point that the real question is, are the unborn human beings? Or take the situations of wanting to finish one's education or advance one's career. Would we ever let a woman kill her born child for those reasons? Of course not. Then why permit someone to kill her unborn child for those reasons? Perhaps someone will say, the unborn are mere tissue and a toddler is a person. If so, then again, the real question that must be answered is, are the unborn human beings? What about poverty? Well, there are lots of born people who are poor, but we do not kill them to solve that problem. The problem is poverty, not the poor. And so instead of eliminating the poor person, we should eliminate the poverty itself. The same goes for the unborn. In each of these scenarios, it's clear that the real question in the abortion debate is, are the unborn human? And if so, When did they first come into existence? You know, if I think about it, I didn't know that Christy and Alina existed until I met them. But my meeting them isn't what made them exist. It merely informed me of that. They clearly existed before I met them. So when exactly did they first exist? We'll answer that question in the next video titled, When Does Life Begin?